Hello, Matt Dinsmore here with Direct Primary Care. Teaching Tuesday today, everybody. Time to learn something. As some of you may know, there's a bill in Washington State that has passed the Senate and the House and likely will be adopted into law here shortly, affecting the immunization requirements for our kiddos. So I thought I'd spend some time just breaking it down, try to symbolize it, and saying this is what the law will take in effect. Caveat. I am not a lawyer and do not treat this as legal or medical advice. And I maybe can't even read. So liability's on you, everybody. Okay, just trying to teach some people some things without getting in trouble. Okay, so I just thought, hey, let's just pull up the law and go through it. And then in a simple way and as interpreted by a nurse practitioner, we can see what it says. So first off, who is this law going to affect? Well, it affects every public school kiddo, every private school kiddo, every homeschooler doing a cooperative deal, and every daycare kid. So it affects all those people. If you're just like strictly, solely homeschool, this wouldn't affect you, which will become pretty obvious. But basically what the law says is that for every one of those, that each child on their first day of attendance will have to show a full immunization. So show evidence that they've been fully immunized. B, that the initiation of or the compliance with the Schedule 2 that like, hey, I'm being immunized and I'm fully up to date, but I haven't completed the full immunization series. So you have to show that as according to the State Board of Health. Or 3, you have to have a certificate of exemption for the immunizations that have been recommended by the State Board of Health. There is kind of like one caveat, and that is you don't have to show that you've been immunized to a disease that you've already had. Right. So if you can have a healthcare practitioner that said, yep, I saw that kid when he had chickenpox and so he's immune, or sounds very like that story that the mother told me is like that really sounds like chickenpox and they're willing to sign their name, then you can be exempt from showing that you had the full chickenpox vaccination. If the practitioner is not sure, however, they may request a blood titer to see if indeed there is disease immunity with that. Okay, there is some stuff in that we'll go over the exemption stuff because I think that's the really interesting part here in just a second. But as the law reads, they go into some information about how at sixth grade entry, schools are going to have to tell parents and give education that the meningococcal and HPV human papillomavirus immunization are recommended. So there's a lot of information about that. Okay, and then section 2, here's the real interesting stuff, exemptions. So there's kind of 3 main exemptions. Washington State currently is one of 18 states that allows for medical, religious, and personal/philosophical exemptions for all immunizations. That is about to change. So they kept the medical exemption, that's letter A here, is that a healthcare practitioner can either temporarily or permanently certify that an immunization would not be advisable for a child. So temporary would be like this child presented for a well-child visit, but they had a high fever or were sick with something else, and maybe it wasn't really the best time to give them the chickenpox vaccination. So here's a temporary exemption. You can still go to school. Permanent exemption would be like they had the chickenpox vaccination, they had anaphylaxis or something scary, and so I'm going to permanently exempt them from that shot. Okay, so there's some other medical reasons why you wouldn't want to give an immunization, so they still allow a medical exemption. The B is a exemption for religious beliefs. So if you say, hey, my religion, which I believe Jehovah's Witnesses, there might be a couple more, but they have something within their religious beliefs that it would be unadvised per the religion to get immunizations. So you can get a religious exemption for all immunizations. All right, and then C, this will affect a majority of people. You can still get a personal or philosophical exemption for every immunization outside of the MMR. That's basically what C says. If you're going to attend any of those institutions that I listed above, you have to get the MMR, again, unless you have a religious or medical exemption. If you don't have those, you can't use a personal or philosophical exemption for the MMR any longer. Okay. All right. And then they have some stuff about the form, and then they have something in here protecting a healthcare provider from being sued from civil liability. Basically, there's just if you ever have a practitioner that says, I can't sign this personal philosophical form because I could be liable for that, and so I don't feel comfortable, a parent could say, well, you're protected under the law that nobody can sue you for signing an exemption form, right? So there is that protection for providers. And they kind of define some other religious rules there that are like a very small subpopulation of people, but they did it. And they go into, what's this part about? If you're a volunteer at a daycare center, you have to show that you've been fully immunized, and they go into the rules about how to go about that. So that is basically it. Those are the main highlights with the law that's going to be taking place. I would offer and suggest that you comment below, but this is such a hot topic that don't comment below, okay? Just be friendly, everybody. This is just the law, and this is meant to be informative. And hopefully everybody's having a great Teaching Tuesday. Have a great rest of your day.